Hi and welcome to another Memories Made video. I'm designer Jen Gallacher and today I'm going to use an older photo of mine. This is a photo of my son Joey, who has since passed, and his younger sister Caitlin. She is now 18. And this was before I had a really nice camera, and I fixed it quite a bit in Photoshop, but it's still not the best photo in terms of color. But I still love this photo, so I encourage you to use photos that maybe aren't the best quality, but tell the story. And this happened to be after church one Sunday, and we're standing outside of our church and we took this picture. And because it captures the two of them together, it's particularly important to me. So we're going to go ahead and use this photo on the page. For the foundation of the page, I have some Jelly Bean soup paper. It does have journaling cards on one side, and because I love this paper, I bought two of these so that I could have the journaling cards as well as this great kind of basic grid paper. And it is a yellow cream background, and sometimes it's fun to switch from the hot trend of white backgrounds to a more kind of creamy background. I also have some older paper from Lily B. I love anything that is tone on tone, and I just love this dot. Then from one of my recent scrapbooking hauls, I have this strip from October Afternoon. It has these charming little people on the back. And we're just going to create kind of an unusual design in that I'm going to just combine a bunch of different strips on the paper just to create a fun layering effect. You know how I love my layering. I haven't attached this pink paper yet because I kind of want to get a feel for how things look. This is a leftover sheet of pattern paper from one of the Echo Park Paper Bundle of Joy Dots and Stripes collection, and you'll see that has all different kinds of pinks, greens. There's one for baby and there's one for baby boy and baby girl. And this is from their older one, but I happen to have it on hand and near my desk, so I wanted to finish using it up. And you can see there's not much left in this particular one. So it was very well loved. And I just happen to have half of the sheet of the 6x6 paper. So I try and look through my stash and see things that would work well together and try and use up some of those paper strips. Now, I honestly don't keep all of my paper strips. I start to throw them away, and some of you might be gasping at that, but after a while, it just takes up so much space that I no longer feel inspired. I almost start to feel overwhelmed. So when I get pieces that are a little bit smaller than this, if I haven't used them in a while, I'll clean out my supplies and get rid of them. Then again, before we place the pink paper down, I have two craft doilies, and when I was separating them, they tore a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that those pieces that are torn are hidden behind the pink paper. So I want to place the pink paper down as if I were going to attach it to get a feel for where I want these doilies to go. Slide them both underneath. And again, this pattern paper by Jelly Bean Soup is so great because the grid pattern helps me keep my design all aligned perfectly. So once I get it how I want, now I can go ahead and attach this great polka dot paper. I do lay out the layouts before I film them, so if you're wondering how I get them put together so quickly, that is how I totally cheat and I get things ready to go. But I figure that we can move through this more quickly if I do so. We're going to take the photo, and you'll notice it's quite large. It's a 5x7 photo. I did print it a little larger, and I do print here at home on a Canon printer, which I got at Walmart, and it works great for me. It's kind of just the perfect amount of printing that I like to do at home. I like to create my own sizes, so I go ahead and print here at home. Then we're going to be bringing in a bunch of ephemera pieces from the Craft Market collection from Crepe Paper. I do love Crepe Paper's ephemera packs because they just really nail it on colors and design. First, we're going to do a diagonal striped washi tape, and then we're going to take this 3.5 ephemera pack, again from Craft Market, and we're just going to overlap it. Just kind of a subtle design. Then here at the bottom, I'm going to do a bunch of layering. And I just took some of the bigger cards from the collection, and I'll start to just kind of lay them out on the page. I like to overlap. I thought it would be fun, rather than doing a cluster, we'll do a border of different size shapes. So again, if you have a tag, you can remove the center and you can bring in washi tape to hold it down, or you can bring in some twine to hold it down. Start layering a little bit here. Scooch these over a bit. So I just kind of keep going until I get a feel for how I want the items on the page to look. Move things around. This particular butterfly here, you can see I've left it on the paper, or rather plastic backing. This is from a different crepe paper collection, but because they're so good with colors, their items do match. And this is a tag with a glitter finish. You can see we're just kind of creating, I haven't stuck anything down, I'm just kind of getting a feel for placement. I'm going to go ahead and add some twine to that. Couple of the tags here. There's a couple of different ways to attach twine if you've watched my videos before. One way is to come in from the back. I've created a little loop and we'll thread that through to the front. And then through the loop, we're going to take these two ends and come up through that open circle and then pull it taut. And then from there, you can trim off the twine as much as you want. So that's one way. Another way to do it is to take, again, the twine. You could use baker's twine if you like, or even ribbon. And we'll just tie a bow on this one. So a lot of different ways to attach texture, but I'm always looking for ways to make things look more realistic. If you were going to buy a tag, it would very likely have a piece of cord or some bead chain stuck to it. So I try and make things a little more realistic. So now we're kind of getting a feel for how things are going to be laid out. At this point, I will start sticking things down. So let's go ahead and start with some of these pieces on this right side. This one says Crescent Bicycles, and it brings in some of the gray. We're going to slightly overlap that right side. This particular tag is a 5 tag. One thing that I like to do, and I taught this a little bit in my Craftsy class, is when I'm choosing things, if there's a number on it, there's a reason why I will choose that number. If you'd like to learn more about some of my top secret hints and tricks for designing and creating meaning in your pages, be sure to check out my scrapbook design and storytelling class with Craftsy. It's brand new. I'll go ahead and link you to it in the description below this video in case you're interested. It's brand new and it's a really in-depth class. So if you like videos and you like video learning, I suggest you check it out. We'll attach this tag in the back. What we're trying to do is we're attaching things in the layers as they make sense. You've seen me do these videos before. You know that sometimes I don't think ahead enough and I'm pulling things up. But today, trying to avoid that a little bit by creating a plan here. So I have this teal card, looks kind of like a library card or a checkout card. And it doesn't matter if the top of the items are aligned or the bottom, because we're doing layering, we can just make it as messy as we want. I like having things that are a little bit all over the place. You'll notice I'm not adding any twine to this particular tag. You'll see why in a bit. And I want it far enough up on the teal tag in the back so that when I place this gold one on top, it overlaps it slightly. This particular one has a camera card on it. Like I said, this particular ephemera pack is just absolutely incredible. And I'm realizing I want to bring things over just a smidge. So let's go ahead and do that. I am using adhesive from American Crafts. It is permanent. However, I'm not worried about making sure that it's all perfect here. To the bottom of the camera, we're going to take this tag. It does have a gold foil finish. See how it shimmers and shines. We'll overlap the 2 tags here at the bottom. And then for this butterfly, it is machine stitched down the center. And there are several that come on this particular sticker sheet. And it does have adhesive on the back. place that down. So we're creating some cool visual triangles here. Overlap that slightly. Then to the top of the camera box, or rather tag, I'm going to add some Doodlebug Design paper clips, and they're in the teal color that you see in some of my elements here. And I usually do them in groups of 2. And I do one on the small side and one on the large side. Now for the title for this page, I thought it would be fun to incorporate a wood veneer shape. This is a freckled fawn one, and you can attach this with wet adhesive or with dry adhesive. It's completely up to you, but I'm just kind of getting a feel for placement here, and I may come back and change that. Let's move that aside. I do know where I want. These particular triangle shapes are also from the ephemera pack, and we're going to create triangle shape here at the top. You'll notice that the 3.5 is upside down. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to place it on our page because we like it like that. And we're going to overlap them slightly. So I'm going to put the 2 triangles that have teal in them in the back. And then I want to place the one with the yellow on top. So I kind of plan the placement. Now at this point, you could machine stitch through any of these items. It would be fun to go through here or here. It's just completely up to you. One thing that I want to do before we go any further is I want to do a little bit of stamping. And we're going to use a Versamark ink pad. We are going to use a stamp set from Technique Tuesday. This is the stamp set. And we're going to use this phrase that says, "You are pretty much the best ever." And we're going to stamp on some craft cardstock. Now I'm using an acrylic block that has a grid in it. And this is really great to use when you have a phrase, especially one that is as long as this, because you'll notice that when I pick it up, it's a little bit flimsy and bends. So when I place it on my block, I can actually manipulate it, which would be a fun technique. But if I want a perfectly aligned and straight phrase, using an acrylic block with a grid allows you to place it on the block perfectly. You can see it runs right along that bottom edge. And we're going to use Versamark ink, and Versamark ink will simply bring out a darker color than the cardstock that you're using. You can also use Versamark ink when you want to emboss with embossing powder. You want to press firmly, but do not rock. So it's very subtle, but you can see how it looks. What I did is I cut it into 2 strips, so it was more like a journaling block, and there's no reason why you can't use a stamp set for journaling, so I simply cut it in half where it made sense, and I usually like one a little longer than the other one. And we can go ahead and place this on our layout. So here's the layout again. We're going to take the 2 journaling pieces and we're going to attach them here at the bottom. We're going to place the first one slightly behind the butterfly, and then we'll take the second shorter piece and place that underneath. Then to the side of this particular tag, we're going to take a stick pin and we're going to try and just pierce the first layer so that we try not to come across the bottom here. And you do that just kind of by fishing it through and trying to only catch that first part. Then to the top here, I'm going to take a tag. This is from a different crepe paper collection, but I thought it would be fun to add a tag here. And we're going to take the happy phrase, and now we will attach it here at the top. And you can do that using glue dots. I'm just going to use some smaller glue dots. And I'm simply going to glue them behind pieces that won't show on the front. So kind of strategically place them. Do be careful, these do tear if you manipulate them or bend them too much. So just be careful. You could also use, like I said, a wet adhesive if you prefer. Then I wanted to bring in some of this craft on this side, and it appears here. I want to create a nice visual triangle, so I'm going to bring some craft over here. And I've used my favorite older Provo Craft scissors. They are a nice large scallop. And I have cut a piece from the craft cardstock on which we stamped. And we'll just attach that right to this side here. Just fish it behind, and all of a sudden that creates just such a great visual triangle. Then let's add some enamel dots. The page wouldn't be complete without some enamel dots. You know I love my dots. Just add a few to the page here. We'll add some by the happy word as well. Just bring some of that pink, bubblegum pink up to the top. These particular ones are from Doodlebug Design. They're great because they have kind of an ombre effect of different colors of pink. And then I think I will go ahead and add a little bit more twine to that top tag just to finish it off. Make sure that I have lots of different textures here. We'll just fish it through the hole. And we'll tie it in a bow again. Or actually, let's just tie it in a knot. We haven't done just a knot yet. So I just wanted to bring in some of that texture up here to the top. So if you have older photos that you want to use, go ahead and do it. Use some of your favorite products, bring them together, and create a layout that you love because you've captured a memory that you love. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of these Memories Made videos. And again, if interested, be sure to check out my blog for additional self-paced workshops, as well as check the link below for my new Craftsy Scrapbooking class.